day one of 10-day juicing challenge in order to create a new health focused persona and hopefully help me with some of my eating problems. Cut down on sugars, fats, and other digestive problems. So on the first day we decided we're either going to do 4 or 5 juices. So far we've done 3. And after 4th we'll make a decision if we're going to do 5th or not. Our juices tend to be half a litre because we like juice quite a lot. First, the juice is very green. Can't remember what the ingredients were. Mostly kale, cucumber, celery. I think there was tomato there. Of course, apples and some ginger and turmeric. The last one we had was super tasty. Sweet potato, pear, carrots, ginger, and a little bit of a cinnamon kick. For the early part of the day, we decided to get rid of all our admin stuff to make to do, so we have nothing to do for 10 weeks. Going to the post office, pick up music equipment. Went to the doctor, told him what I was doing, he gave me a nod. So, doing 10 days of juicing. A little nod, okay. Arranged to get some tests done a week after the juicing just to see how's it help me. We just did some Kundalini yoga following some DVD. I took Kundalini yoga before. This was only an hour. Good workout, arms and legs. Sorry, no one else to say. The first lunch, not eating. I was like, oh, I'm really hungry. And I was quite hungry walking through Victoria, the capital of Gozo. And I was like smelling the pizza. I was like, oh, maybe if I could have a pizza, my partner won't find out. But now I'm not really hungry anymore. The last juice I had, it seemed to fill me for 3 hours, but it's now up to go up hour 40. It's fair enough, so I imagine that'd be enough for the day. Sometimes I felt very floaty. This is before I did the yoga. Sometimes I felt very floaty, and I guess just kind of return my attention to my feet. So far it's been good. Energetically, you just start feeling the difference. It's still solid as new. I guess it would be easier for me to do it than most people if they just randomly did it, because for the past 3 weeks I've been having a juice every day for breakfast. I've been doing yoga every second or third day, and been swimming in the Mediterranean Sea, I guess 2 or 3 times a week. So my body had started doing a detox anyway, because I'm consuming less sugars and fats than I would when I was living in Ireland, where the diet is terrible. And now I'm in the Mediterranean, where the diet's a bit better, and it is like starting to change, and my nerves are starting to calm down. So I'm not expecting it to be a major change. Like, I've seen some testimonials where people go bananas after 3 days, but it will be very meditative because my partner is in charge of the juice and the detox, and I'm in charge of activities. And so I'm like, right, we're gonna do free yoga in the morning, listen to some Muji satsangs, then follow an hour long yoga DVD for some intense yoga, and then finish the evening with singing rainbow songs and mantras of kirtan. On top of all this, decided to start doing a parasite detox. Just decided to throw this in, a mix of black walnut, cloves, and wormwood to get rid of any parasites. So fair enough, went along with this. We're also doing tongue scrapings, which should be do every day from now on. Netties, where you're pouring water into your nose. Oh, and I'm practicing not ejaculating during love making, which so far has worked every time I've tried them today in the past couple of days. I think I'm pretty much mastered this, and so I have to try and at least keep that up for 10 days, just because I don't want to lose energy and keep all my proteins and minerals as possible because of my eating. Right now is definitely the better part of the day because it's doing yoga. I feel fantastic. Super. Day 2 and day 3 of our 10 days of juicing were lost to sleep, mostly unconscious for those 2 days. We were doing kirtan, energetic singing and chanting with our feet in these Epsom salt buckets, which is nice. Is that your feet are in buckets and you're singing mantras. It just makes things more amusing. And but singing them to exhaustion because at one time we were both kind of like just singing it and just kind of going, I don't know what I'm saying, man. So I'm feeling this anxiety coming in, trying to remember that I don't need to do anything because this question keeps popping in my head. And I got a bit of a yesterday headache. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? All I have to do is drink juice and submit to the process and be all over. It's actually not that bad. So I don't have to do anything. So it's a reminder: don't have to do anything. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to do anything. But there's this that voice is just a vocal representation of some kind of energy imbalance within me. So then I have to still remember that I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be there. I don't have to do anything. Everything is grand. Bring my awareness into my being, which is always changing and moving, and remind myself that this, even though this being, it's always changing, moving in a different state. It's not the I. It is just the physical representation of a being, which is constructed in our ideas and our memories of ourselves, which is produced by this emotional, energetic sensation of ourselves, and within that there is this other I-ness. It's the I-ness that stays the I, even though the rest of our body is changing throughout the day. And so there are times where it does get easier to connect to the I-ness, the observer, which is observing the different states, which I've been calling me and my being. And maybe it's a non-existent thing, maybe it's just empty space, but at the moment it's just trying to just stay in watchful mode. So anyway, so that's day 4. So my favorite juice so far has been a mix of pineapple, carrot, apple, and ginger. I think we used about 2 apples. I think it was 2 carrots, and we used a whole pineapple for 2 people. So this got us about a litre of juice. We drank half a litre each. That was my favorite juice so far. And then after this 10 days of juicing, it's gonna be 10 days of raw food. And after that, when you have to create a new regular diet, pineapple juice has to be in it. Love it. It's absolutely delicious. Tastes like sunshine. Day 8 and feeling great. Definitely the most energetic of all the days so far. Past few days been gradually feeling more and more normal, but going out and doing things I suddenly get very exhausted, except for today. I did go into Victoria and go to a physiotherapist, sort my back, and shooting the video in the kitchen and not in the bedroom, because apparently doing things that aren't sleep in the bedroom is bad for your back. That was the gist of what I learned. Watching videos in the bedroom, don't do that. Making videos in the bedroom, don't do that. I've been having some quite psychedelic dreams and intense dreams since the juicing began. A few nights ago, I had 3 very intense dreams in the one night. The first dream, all the dreams were based in a dark house. Things were very dark and damp, and all involved smoking somehow. So in the first dream, I'm in somewhere that I'm acknowledging is my home or my house, even though it's not somewhere I've ever lived. The place itself I didn't recognise. and there are people there socializing, having a party, and I'm worried people are going to break stuff, and people are smoking and making a mess. And I'm like, here, lads, can you like stop being so messy? And people are like, just relax. So I think this dream was about having unnecessary anxieties that things are going to go wrong. Where, because I'm in a situation, environment where things are kind of uncertain, but none is actually bad. It's just that there's no guarantee for next week. It all works out. So I think that dream was just about, okay, let people in to your emotional home and it'd be grand maybe. My second dream I had that night again in a dark house, and this was referred to then as my family home, even though it wasn't actually my real family home back in Ireland. So the family home, just the wording of this is my family home, my family were there. That's just symbolic because it wasn't really about my family. So my sister is there and she's smoking indoors, which you don't usually do in the house. And she's saying, "Oh, you don't really appreciate all the things that's happened in the home, even if it's a dark and dank house." In my dream, the house is dark, quite manky. And then at some point, I meet some kind of vulgar looking, kind of disgusting, overweight, businessy kind of type, corporate type, talking, smoking a cigar, and there's all these kind of cocoons in the conservatory, all these kind of cocoons, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, well we can sell these cocoons for like $5 grand each or something." And I see one cocoon is opened, and at some point I actually step on a caterpillar that spikes on it. So this dream was about kind of, even though when you're growing up and everyone has some degree of child abuse. Some people worse than others, but my theory is in general people treat her badly, and you can find something in your childhood that's disturbing you now. But no matter what it is, it still develops you up to this point. So if you have this story, oh, I had all this, I was being bullied and picked on, and I was never a part of a community, therefore it's okay that I'm an alcoholic. That's just a story that you have that reinforces one of your negative traits. That your behavior should be good or bad regardless of your upbringing. And then you might go, okay, well, people mistreated me and I became an alcoholic, but then I did yoga, meditation, I got better, and I became a beautiful butterfly. That's still just a story. Like, that information is good and useful to other people who might be in similar situations, be it alcoholics, or depressed, or overweight, or whatever, if you overcome these things. But still an attachment to a story, because no one really gives a shit if you have problems and that you overcome them. Some people will really value that information, but most people don't really care. And then you have the fat guy in my dream. He's just kind of representing the people who are making money out of suffering. And obviously, the first thing comes in your head is pharmaceuticals, but there's also quite a lot of people in holistic and natural, natural healing people that will take money off you as well for personal development. And then my last dream, because I'm now living with someone, I've lived with people before, obviously, but not in this kind of intense way where you're kind of planning your day. It's actually not the longest, but it's quite long. And so I had a dream where someone is taking me to another place, into a bigger home that I can move into. I've been moving to on my own. And I'm like, oh great, I can live here on my own. And I can do the things that I'm not meant to do, like smoke discarded cigarettes that I find in the ground. So I'm picking up these cigarettes off the ground and they're manky and they're falling apart. And, ugh, it's quite disgusting. And I used to smoke and I quit smoking. Definitely, quitting smoking is obviously a brilliant idea. It's like, why would I want to smoke cigarettes? They taste horrible. Even a fresh cigarette tastes disgusting. You don't notice it when you're a smoker, but when you stop smoking for a few weeks, or a few months, a year, whatever, you start smoking again. You know, like I notice now when I smell cigarettes, Jesus, they're disgusting. But you think they're great when you're smoking. And so I guess that dream is reaffirmed in my head that I prefer living. I rather live with people. I'd rather live in a community. Live like this is just I have to find the right community. I kind of like the place I'm in. I quite enjoy it. So those are my quite dreams. And then and also then about 6 a.m. there was all these not sorry no, 6 a.m. was when no it was before 6 a.m. middle of the night maybe I don't know what time it was. I was hearing all these noises downstairs, and first thing into my head was someone's in the house. They've broken in. Just automatic nightmares come in, and then I'm like, you know what? Most of the time when I worry about something like the dream was trying to tell me, it doesn't actually come true. But then eventually it was still the noise was still going on. So I slowly creep downstairs, okay, expecting someone to be there, and it's the cat, and the cat is walking through the dishes, knocking things over, and me being worried that she's going to smash things. I take the cat, bring it upstairs, and the cat just runs off again and starts making noise again. I said, you know, fuck it, just let whatever chaos, destruction, life brings, whatever, it's grand. Just let go of control and deal with it. And then at some point, so then at 6 a.m., it's still dark here. Sunrise is about 7 a.m. So maybe it was six. I don't know. It was like maybe 6:30. It was still dark, but getting lighter. I started using this phrasing that I don't usually use, referring to consciousness as light. So I'm sitting there lying, and in my dreams I've reaffirmed that everything that I've done that's bad is just a part of my story. Anything I've done to make up for the bad things I've done, that's just another story. So, you know, I used to be an alcoholic, I used to do drugs, I used to smoke, I used to eat meat, I used to be aggressive, I used to steal things, whatever. I've done lots of bad things. And then I went through this transformation process, yoga meditation, blah blah blah, move around the place, blah 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 blah. And they're still both just stories. And some people might ignore the redemption part of the story and focus on the negative. And someone might go, oh well, the negative did is okay because you've done all this awesome stuff. Either way, it's still just stories. And as of now, at this point, you've no real confirmation that it's exactly as you remember. Your memory isn't actually even 70% accurate. You only remember bits and pieces of things. So it's just a story in your head, and just let go of it. And even your physical body, which is the most reasonable thing to refer to as you. Okay, you have your persona and your mental person. A lot of people identify with. You let go of that, and you've got your physical body. Yeah, but your physical body keeps changing. It's a continuous flux of change. The thing that you're calling yourself is continuously changing. And what is the part of us that is there almost continuously? And it's our consciousness. And at this particular time, I was referring to light because that phrasing was just popped into my head. Thinking consciousness as light that's shining on everything. My consciousness is shining on everything. And my ignorance of things keeps things in the dark. So when I'm aware of there's just a story running on in my head about who I am, about what I've done this, oh, what have I shamed, people find out in this, blah, 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 blah. And the light of pure consciousness shines and goes, it doesn't matter if people don't like you or not, it's just a story. And then you're thinking, things are happening to my body, your light of pure consciousness shines on it and says, doesn't matter because your body keeps changing, you're going to die anyway. And so in this particular morning, I was really identifying my consciousness as me, not just intellectually, but I am consciousness, I am the light, I am awareness itself. It is the thing that I am doing the most. Without this awareness, there be no other comprehension what it could possibly be. Remove awareness, there is no conversation on what I am or not. You could say, I play tennis, therefore I'm a tennis player. But you stop playing tennis at some point, you're not really a tennis player, but you're conscious all the time. And if you're not conscious, you can't call yourself a tennis player. And so, as I see that the root source of this consciousness is this empty space at the beginning of all the universe, how it began before the Big Bang was. It was a big. We don't even know what it fucking was. We're gonna call it a nothingness, where there was no laws of physics, and then this light of consciousness explodes, and then we start getting more complicated formations. So while it's most reasonable to identify yourself as a consciousness, for me right now it's more reasonable to identify with the consciousness and let go of the story of who I was, and and my body is just a part of the universe, and just let the universe flow in and out, and I interact with it a little bit, but just relax. There's nothing to do because at the end you're gonna die anyway, and. And the more you kind of relax you are, you're not getting attached to things, or you're not hating things too much, it'll be easier to die. Death is a very recent topic. Partner's friend died. Know a lot of people died this year, a lot of tragedy. But the positive aspect that I know that I am consciousness is the closest thing that we have to our true self. When you say things like, what is yourself? It's always, every single case, it's just an expression. It's just a bunch of words. It may have meaning. It may reference an idea, and people identify more that I am a liberal, web developing Irishman, middle class, blah. That's an idea. Or it identify a lot their physical body, which is very reasonable because because all objects that we express, all visual, we identify objects as visual and give them an idea. Physical objects are kind of where our emotions and our ideas kind of meld together, and we experience things as physical objects, which makes a lot of sense because it's how we move around and explain things and talk. But at the end of the day, it's all changing. And so the only consistent I you have is this feeling of I am. But that feeling of I am could also go away. Because sometimes you have nothing, it's just numbness. But you're still consciously aware. So it's really. And if you sit there, anyone who doesn't do this, I do this several times a day. Anyone who doesn't do this, maybe when you finish doing exercise or you finish having a shower, sit down for 5 minutes. And become aware of the person who is aware. Observe the observer. And it's the closest thing that you'll find of feeling your true self. Because whatever you're consciously aware of, it is you in the sense that it's a projection of you, but it's not the source. First you get rid of the ideas, and your attachment to your physical things, and your emotions start to come down, and you get closer and closer and closer, and you get all these meditating, get all these explosions of ecstasy, but these are all still distractions. Maybe you get these psychic projections and ideas and creativity, but these are all still just ideas of yourself. These are all objects of consciousness, and therefore is not consciousness itself. It's a part of consciousness, so it's a part of who you are, but it's not you yourself. Now, whatever you feel or experience as yourself will always be just an expression, and it's not actually your true self. Closest thing to true self. It's actually, as the Buddha would say, there is no self. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Even your consciousness is changing shape and moving about. There's nothing that's actually fixed. Everything's moving, going about. You just temporarily are aware of things. And you temporarily have ideas of things. And you temporarily attached to things. And you're temporarily physical. So that day I was like, I am made out of pure light and consciousness. And then the next day, someone insulted my person, my being, my physical body, particularly the fact that I'm a male. Oh, you're a male, you don't understand these things. And then all of a sudden, my yesterday's enlightenment disappeared, and I was already reattaching to my body again. It was really strange. So I had this very intense anxiety that someone was insulting me, because I was still associating myself with the body and therefore trying to defend, identifying myself as a male, when it's really, I have a male body. It's not that I am a male or I am female. And this is around for another day, but I find it very destructive. People who are either female or males, and they really identifying with this form, and they attach all these other cultures of, oh, not only am I physically a woman, but there's all this ideal woman. And not only am I a physical man, but I'm a man. So all women are dainty princesses, and they dance around with the women in women's groups. Go, we're all dainty females, and a true man's going to come and save us. And then there's these other guys who are like drinking beer, big beer guts, drinking, eating hamburgers, watching football, going, oh, I'm a real man, pretending that they do sports. Like it's hyper macho and hyper feminine. I think both very destructive. I mean, you could say the idea is to be balanced, but be aware that your root source is consciousness, but everything else is projection. It is still you. So you've got the balance of what we traditionally call masculine energy, which is consciousness, and the feminine energy, which is the object of consciousness. Anyway, but calling it masculine and feminine like that kind of distorts people's minds, and they start putting a cultural attachments to the idea what is masculine and feminine. Just dudes, you're here in this body. It's your body. You're in charge of it. But don't get attached to it, because it's going to go. So you're going to die. So the more attached you are to your body, the more pain and suffering you're going to have. You can enjoy the body. I enjoy my body, and I quite enjoy others too. No, but there it is. You're too attached to it, you're going to cause suffering is going to happen because you lose everything. 2 more days of juicing to go. Yay! So day 9 of the 10-day juice fast was so tired and the hungriest I'd been the entire time. We're just like, oh, just give me a goddamn pizza. Just give me, break the fast now and do the pizza. But then we made it to day 10 and we finished the evening with a celebration of Kirtan, music, chants for friends on top of the rooftop, and bam, we completed 10 days. And yesterday was our first day eating food, starting the day with a smoothie, a banana, cacao, pumpkin seeds, almonds, date, apple pulp, and maca. Then our first food we had was we made raw pasta that we made spaghetti out of courgette, so it wasn't actually pasta. And mostly raw tomato sauce. And then we had mushrooms that we marinated, and then we made crisps out of kale. So far we've just eaten raw food. We've had 2 days of just eating solid raw food, and tomorrow we'll kind of back into okay. Now we'll just be thinking about diet for now on. So it felt great. Definitely changes how you feel about food. Not really thinking about. Sometimes I go, well, I'll go for some junk food, some crisps. Then I go, nah, I don't actually. I have been drinking coffee, but I don't order it with cream. So it does change your approach to food. So after I started eating and I weighed myself, and in total I think I have lost 4 kilos. So 4 kilos. It's interesting. So I keep at the diet that I've been eating for the past day yesterday, maybe I'll continue to lose weight. But I'm really super interested in losing weight as well and getting fit. But anyway, so it's a good step in the direction getting healthier. If we were going to do anything different about our experience, would be we felt a huge difference when we added in a protein supplement into our juice, something like hemp. It gave us more energy on the 10th day. And so next time we really need to use hemp, and we have a mix of hemp, maca, spirulina, and you do need protein if you're going out for 10 days. If you're going out for 3 or 5 days, then Couldn't just make it up, but we needed more energy than we did because we should have had more energy. But we, for the last couple of days, we're fine most of the time. But we did run out of energy whenever we actually started doing anything. So on our first day of eating, we had our first guest in our guest house. We had any guests for a while because we were fasting, and these people were just so difficult, just making so many demands. We're the cheapest guest house in the area, and you expect so much of us. It's like you're just getting a room. They actually demanded that they wanted our bedroom, and we're like, that's our bedroom and our altar. And we gave it to them. We said, screw it. Like, I don't have the energy to argue with you, and we switched. But maybe we spent a day preparing their room for them, and then they making the switch. And I was just like, even though you have a story in hand and we're in the right, okay, this is the thing, we're in the right in this. So if you're having an argument with someone, you're in the right. Still echo that story because it's just a story in your head that you're right. Because at the end, it doesn't actually matter. And that's something I'm going to try and remember, even though it might have anything to do with using this I am consciousness and having a story and letting go of your story. It's what I got out of the juicing, is that I spent entire day thinking about the I am consciousness and just try to remember that even if you're in the right, let go of that story and just let the universe adjust you. Instead of adjusting yourself to the universe, let the universe adjust you, because the universe is perfectly balanced. If you just accept it and go with the flow of things, you'll be much better off. So in 2016, our guest house, we're going to be looking into having some juice specials. Come over to our guest house in the morning. You get a specially prepared juice yoga class, and boom, rest of the day you explore yourselves in the Paradise Island. Gozo, I love this place so much. It's definitely the best place to meditate, do yoga, and get healthier.